Grab a six pack, sit back, and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back, and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back, and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back, and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 222 of the Drunk Dashers podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself. We have Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Dude, I am on vacation for a week, and I feel pretty freaking good right now. At the same point, though, I am kind of at a loss because even though I'm on vacation, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do next. So, it's going to be a little bit of a while just to try to figure out what I'm going to do in the meantime, but I'll think of something. But, anyway, how have you been, Tyler?
Doing all right. Better to be bored at home than at work. So that's all I'm gonna say.
That's true.
Even if it's a good day at work, I'd rather be bored at home. But no, I'm doing okay. We got a couple weird weeks coming up. It's the state fair, starting this coming Thursday. It's like 11 days, and our work closes down for the 2 Fridays during. So I got the next 2 Fridays off from work, not by choice. So, but it's whatever. Enjoy it while we can. They give us some tickets. We have like the biggest fair in the country, the Iowa State Fair. So no matter what the people in Minnesota say, we're bigger. Get the most people, most revenue every year. And we have like 3 million things on a stick, and we fry everything. So welcome to Iowa, where you die of a heart. You die of a heart attack in your early 40s. We're a big fan. We fry butter. It's fucking crazy. Yeah. No, other than that, doing okay. It's Saturday night. Drink a couple beers. Got a couple new amiibo, so that's awesome. Got the Bayonetta amiibo. Yeah, I got the Bayonetta one. I got the Pikmin one. Pikmin ones are adorable. I just wish the game was a little better. Because I'd like to play the game with my amiibo. But whatever, you know?
Oh, dude, I did remember something that did happen this week. You know how, like, in California and stuff, it has that sort of a smog sort of overlay, like, in certain areas, let's say, like, L.A. and this, kind of making the breathing habit a little bit hard?
Yeah.
Well, Washington State kind of felt the similar effects, including, unfortunately, my area of the peninsula, which the British Columbia wildfires have been really raging on, and, unfortunately, it has taken a toll inside of the breathing quality around the Pacific Northwest, as for a most part of the week there have been very severe breathing conditions in terms of like say the smog and like the other types of like the smoke overlay. There were specifically a couple of days this week I actually wore a respirator going to and from work because for one I do have some bits of like upper respiratory issues because of asthma when I was a kid and this and that. But the point being is I've been reading certain articles, I've been looking up certain things, and the breathing quality has been one of the worst in the nation for a while, just for 1 week. But that's the thing. I was constantly going to and from work, and even people at my workplace and stuff, them coming to work just talking about, oh man, it's like the smoke is like covering up the sky, the sun, and on top of that, it was literally like the hottest week of the year. And so a lot of us couldn't even open our fucking windows because of the mixture of smoke smell and then all of a sudden it being incredibly hot and humid inside of the house. Yeah, that was terrible for a lot of people.
Hope they have air conditioning. That'd be terrible otherwise.
Oh, yeah, we had air conditioning. That's just the thing, though. For the warehouse that I work inside, it's like the back door is constantly open because people have to drop off things, and we have, like, people working inside that donation area that have to constantly help the customers and stuff. And so they're constantly exposed to the elements while they're trying to go ahead and help people and organize stuff. So even during the middle of work, I pretty much took some of my respirators, which they're not that like expensive for some. I've had like a couple boxes for like the last year, and I used about a good solid like maybe 5, 10. I would say about a good solid like maybe 5 or 6 throughout the past couple days because of certain things. But yeah, it's just been really crazy. Actually, this has been like the first day in the past week where the heat has actually been like within the early 80s and not say inside the early to mid 90s.
Yeah, we've been. It was actually a little chilly the other day going to work. I had to turn the heat on driving to work, and I thought that I'd do that in August. So, been really weird. July was like fucking 300 degrees all the time, and then as soon as August hit, it dropped to like 70s, and it's a little hot. You know, it's in the 80s right now. Like during the day, and then the evening, it's usually 80s or so. But then middle of the night, stuff like that, early morning, 70s. But I'll take it. Better than what July was. That was terrible.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, July was like a mild month in comparison to like August so far in Washington State. Oh man, I even feel worse for the people that are living in Oregon in certain places because they're up to like about 104 degree temperatures where it's like it feels like it's 114. In the case of like one of our guys that we know, like Rothbard from the old like SG Blue show and stuff like that. But man, it's just the weather in combination with like all sorts of like natural events. I think that smoke is still like going across the United States as we speak.
Damn. Well, I know where all the heat went northwest, so made its way from Midwest to Northwest. Yep. So it's good. Eventually it'll make its way to Alaska, melt some ice and stuff, it'll be good to go. Yay, global warming. Anyways, we're another weather podcast. Although maybe we should be. We are a video game show. So we're going to jump into some games. Does that sound good to you?
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to start off. I'm going to go first. What we've been playing this week.
Sure.
Playing the same thing I talked about last week. Still haven't actually. I still haven't been playing one game, Splatoon 2. I haven't picked it up since that first weekend. I had like a 4-day weekend when Splatoon 2 came out on that Friday. I was off all the way till Tuesday. And I played a shit ton of it that weekend, and I have not played it since. And I just
really,
I just don't have the urge to go back to it. Like I was really busy for a few days at work, worked a lot of hours, so I didn't have a lot of time in the evening to play. And the weekend came, and I'm like, I don't really want to play it. Pyre came.
So it's like base. I'm just trying to wonder. It's like what has made you like not want to go back and play curiosity wise? Because I have not even picked up the game at all, and I've just heard like little bits of reviews and stuff. I know you've had like some stuff with it like being like a little too familiar to the first game, but
yeah, I think we talked about a little bit. I don't know what we talked about last week on the show, but we talked about before the show last week. Just has not connected with me with what the first one did, and I think just the element of surprise in the first one had a lot to do with it, and then this one I think I went in maybe a little more expectations. What's gonna be you're expecting something like what's gonna be different about this. And what are they going to add to it? And that salmon run is really cool, but it's not around all the time. We've talked about that a lot. A lot of familiarities with the maps and the game. All the games are the same. I think if I had a bunch of friends playing the game and I was able to, like last night, I played 4 or 5 hours of Overwatch with a bunch of people from the Talking Ship community.
Yep.
And that game is like a year and a half old. If I can have that with Splatoon 2. With Talking Ship guys, that'd be incredible. I'd probably be playing the game a lot more.
No shit, man, because it is fun playing with the guys with Talking Ship.
Yeah, and it's and it's a fun game to play, and it'd be even more fun with friends. It's like we talked about before, Rocket League. Like we play the shit out of the game because everybody has it, and it's a really fun game. Don't get me wrong, but it's the reason we go back to it is just because it's old faithful. It's like, hey, like I don't really want to play any more Overwatch, or there's 6 of us in the group, and 4 of us have this game. But all of us have Rocket League, so we're gonna play Rocket League. If I can get something like that with Splatoon 2, where I can just have 2 other people to play with, or 3 other people to play with all the time, that'd be great. But yeah, when I play online, I don't play more than 4 or 5 games at a time, which is fine. Short little burst game. The game's perfect for that, especially on a Switch. But the single player just kind of feels meh. Nothing really. The boss battle. The boss battles, the 2 I saw were really fun, but not, nothing really driving me back to it to keep playing. The levels themselves are not all that fun to come back and finish the story. At least not right now. I might come back to it later. Maybe when I get the urge. But yeah, I think I overestimated my want to play Splatoon again. Really, what it is. It's like I said. I said a couple weeks ago. It's a really fun game. If you like Splatoon, you're gonna like this game too. But yeah, it's just I've kind of fallen off of it pretty hard, like I did the first game, where it was for a month, for 6 weeks or so. I played the crap out of that game, and I just did not want to go back to it after that. And I tried a couple times and just didn't click with me. And I think it was just more that same as like that first initial month or so it was out for, and that first couple Splatfest they had for it was incredible. And there's one going on this weekend with mayonnaise versus ketchup. And this is the second Splatfest they've had. And both times I'm hearing a lot of complaints about where it's just one-sided. Where you're supposed to be playing the Team Ketchup versus Team Mayonnaise. You're only supposed to be playing, if you're Team Ketchup, which is the right team, you're only supposed to be playing people that are Team Mayonnaise. But the problem is, and what they did at Splatfest a few weeks ago for the game came out, the problem is there's so many people that are Team Ketchup that people are playing other people on their team. So it's
that's ridiculous. I counter that same issue too, where it's like if you're, especially with their little initial Splatfest, they had the whole cake versus ice cream, and I was faced off against people that was inside the ice cream group too. I'm like, what the fuck? It's supposed to be a Splatfest between two different factions. If you make topics where people are just like basically either extremely to one side of the point and stuff, it's not going to be fun. It's going to be like one versus the other.
Yeah, and ketchup versus mayonnaise is a weird combo.
Yeah.
Like, maybe mustard and ketchup would make more sense? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not click with me. Part of me wants to go back to it, but I feel like it's more like I'm telling myself to go back to it than actually want to go back to it.
No, that's a shame.
I might go back and just check it out here while we still have a few weeks before the big stuff comes out. And maybe it's just because I just need to jump into it and I'll rekindle something with me that first weekend I had. But who knows? But the other game I talked about a lot last week, Pyre. A lot of my opinions are the same. One big one's different, but the music is amazing. The art style is fantastic. It looks really good on a Pro. It actually is 60 frames per second and it is for native 4K, which is really cool. But the problem is a lot of times, the deeper I've gotten to the games, they throw more obstacles on the map, and there's been a lot of frame rate issues, which have made certain points, like they're not all the time, but there was a couple games in particular that I played where it was just like I couldn't even fucking play the game. Like it was dropping so bad and so often. It was just like I'd be moving and all of a sudden the other team's on my side and just ran into my goal, and I'm like, how the hell that happened? We were just at like it would jump from like 60 to 10 to 60 for like a couple seconds and drop back down to 20. It was just, it got really bad. I had to restart the games a couple times, and it ran fine for that. So I've seen a few issues with that where there's just too much on the screen the game can handle. The game portion, still a lot of fun, still great. It's getting harder, and I like the obstacles, and I love the characters in this game. But there's one thing that I really don't like that's keeps hindering me from playing this game more. And it's going to sound like really stupid. It's going to make me sound kind of stupid, but it's text heavy. It is a text-based kind of, not text-based, but it is a, I can't remember what people say it, like an adventure game, like an old school adventure game. And the people that start, a lot of people that started Supergiant, they came from that. So our Supergiant games came from that field back in the day, and you can kind of see that they are still going back to that. Where, oh my God, what's the other two? There was Bastion and
Transistor.
Transistor. Thank you. Both games are great, but they weren't too. I mean, there was a lot of story element to it, but there wasn't like. It wasn't dominated. Didn't dominate the game. It was gameplay first, then it was the story. And I love everything about this game, but the stuff in between, there's just so much text, and pretty much like the main story is not interesting to me at all. It's rather boring, and it's the main portion of the game where like the game itself is a few minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, depending on how difficult a battle can be. And the first handful were like 2 or 3. Like it's easy, just dominate learning the game, and then it's starting to get a little more difficult. And the longest game I think I have is probably 5-6 minutes. But like the in between stuff could be 10 to 15 minutes of just like reading and learning the backstory of these villains, or learning a little bit of the lore about the world you're in. And what the main quest is. And like, I just don't care about it at all, and it's actually fairly boring. I like the characters and like their little witty banter they have with each other, the non-story conversations that they have. I enjoy quite a bit. They're just few and far between. There are a few lines here, and then it's back to the story, and it's not hitting me, and it sucks. But it's like, because I really like 90. No, I shouldn't say 9% of the game, because probably 60% of this game is the story. You spend playing this game is the story, but I like most of the time of most of the stuff outside of that. I love. Like, it's some of the best they've done. The music is fantastic. I actually own the Bastion soundtrack. I should probably get the Transistor one because that was really good too. Like, they have really great music. Their art styles in both those games are, oh my god, fantastic. Nobody does art like them. The characters they create are awesome. I just cannot get into the story, and it's just like I'm just sitting there and I'm just like reading it. I'm like, X, okay, and then like just have this back and forth with the guy, like this little short back and forth with this guy before you play him, and I'm like, I don't care. You learn a little. I like some of the backstory I'm getting from the main characters, and like I said, the dialogue between the two. It's funny for the most part, or it's enjoyable. Like learning more about these characters is awesome. It's not enough of it. It's dominated. Like the story element is dominating the story part. I don't like. If that makes any sense, but yeah, if this game was a little more game focused, I would probably beat this game already. But every time I get into it, I can't play it for more than I play a match or two, and I'll play the game for 30-40 minutes, but I'll play 2 matches, and that's not fun to me, I guess. Like,
yeah,
I like story-based games. I love Last of Us. I mean, Metal Gear Solid is my favorite franchise of all time. Those games have like an insane amount of cutscenes, but there's just constantly, I guess from that standpoint, there's constantly like crazy shit happening, and it's over the top, and it's just dumb. So I guess that's my defense for it. I really don't have a good defense for this, not liking it as much, I guess, other than the fact I just don't like it. Really, I mean, that might be the really only one defense, but yeah. It's a great game. I think if you like some of that stuff, if you like, you know, more of the text-based adventure, old school adventure kind of games, you'll probably get into this a lot more than I am. But I don't know if I'm gonna continue to play this game much more if the game portion becomes a bigger role than the story portion, or at least evens out a little bit.
Right.
Because it sucks. Just doing all that in between stuff. It's just like, that was a really fun game. Like, I'm like, holy crap, like I barely won that game. And it's like, you're kind of like, you're like, your blood's flowing. You're like, oh my god, like your heart pressure just like skyrocketed. And like, well, now here comes 15 minutes of boring text. And then get hyped up again. Here comes the awesome game. All right, cool. It's like wind sprints almost. Like 30 seconds of awesomeness, 10-minute break. You know, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I wish I liked it more. That's all I can say. Splatoon 2 and Pyre, same issues with me. Where like, I wish I liked them more. I should like them more. But that's kind of what I've been playing. I did. I'll talk about it later. Actually, never mind. Go ahead and tell me what you've been playing.
Well, you know what? Instead of like going through some of the games that I've had initially in my backlog, I decided to take a little bit of a different tone and like go through the PSN store and see what I could try to try out some of their free downloadable games that they've got. You know, the whole free-to-play sort of aspect. I had played a little bit of that Marvel Heroes Omega of like a game that released around, I believe it was April of this year on PSN.
Yep.
And to be perfectly honest, it's sort of a mix between a Diablo style of gameplay where you're basically in an isometric sort of viewpoint and doing like random RPG like commands and leveling up. And the whole thing about this game in general is you take control of a couple of different Marvel characters, either it be Spider-Man or Storm or Daredevil or you name it, they pretty much have it inside this game. So the whole appeal about this game is to try to go through a various amounts of chapters with certain characters. So basically what they have is you could basically play one of, say, I would say think about 8 or 10 different characters that they presented, but the whole catch of it is they're capped off at level 10. So basically what you do is you can go through a couple of chapters as a character until you get to the level 10 cap, which I initially did a playthrough as Spider-Man, and I went through the whole prologue and chapter 1. I think I did a little bit of chapter 2. But once Spider-Man leveled up and stuff like that to his cap and stuff, I cannot really get past that certain limitation or something like that. And I kind of sort of lost a little bit of interest at that moment. And up until then, I was having a bunch of fun because not only was I constantly getting rewarded by different types of power-ups and different pieces of armor and different types of style of weapons that I could equip onto Spider-Man in terms of say a new type of glove or something like that, or a new type of web shooters and stuff that's going to be a lot more devastating than the last one. And the reasoning why I make a comparison between this and Diablo is because it's sort of the same battle style, and it sort of has that same addicting nature. And to be perfectly honest, I sort of like that style because it's constantly making you feel like you're being rewarded by doing different types of missions and doing different types of tasks. But at the same time, because it's a free-to-play game in of itself, it's capped by the limitations of, you got to put money inside this in order to progress past a certain extent. So I went onto the PSN store, and there was a free character that I could actually download, and I can actually go through and maybe level it up. And there was 2 forms of Daredevil, to be perfectly honest. So I downloaded both of them. I have not tried it yet, but I could say this. It is well put together in terms of gameplay. I did not notice any type of connection issues, because not only you're playing just as yourself, but you can connect on to other servers and play with other different types of people that are there at the same time. In comparison to, say, of another game of its type, say, DC Universe Online, that was on the PS4 towards, the beginning of the PS4's launch, it has better connection than DCUO, and it definitely feels like it's a more cohesive sort of experience. It's not like a 3D sort of action game. It's more like a isometric sort of 2.5 style of, game where you're going through, exploring terrains, defeating random iconic enemies and bosses. You're beating Venom inside one mission, and then all of a sudden another mission you're facing off against lackeys of the Kingpin and Hammerhead's henchmen and stuff from Spider-Man lore and whatever. But I firmly think that this game is definitely worth a play, especially if you are the type that not only just loves superheroes in general, but you're looking for that type of game that you're going to play up until between your next paycheck and now. Say if you can't afford to really go forth and, spend $60 on a new game, or you're waiting, a couple months until the next, say, Call of Duty, or maybe the next, major game you want to buy and stuff. This is definitely worth at least a try. It definitely does have some sort of, free-to-pay elements that I don't kind of enjoy, because a lot of it is controlled through currency that you could buy from the PSN store in increments of, say, $5, $10, upwards to, $100 and stuff like that. Which, yeah, you have the option to do so. It's not really forced upon you, but in order to progress further in the game, if I didn't get those free DLC characters, I probably would have had to have spent at least a good solid maybe $10 or $20 in order to play through the game in full. And speaking of the game in full, it's more about 9 or 10 chapters long. So that initially, from what I played through, is about maybe I think a solid 3 or 4 hours through the prologue, chapter 1, and possibly chapter 2. But other than that, though, I have enjoyed what I've played. But
sorry to jump in real quick though. I remember
go ahead.
This has been on the PC I think for a few years now.
It has.
I remember when it came out initially. I think 2000. Oh man, actually it had been longer than a few years. I remember I think you, Jake, and I might have played that. I remember not too long after the show started on PC, in like 2013. So it's probably been out about 5 years now or so. But I remember when it came out.
That's the thing. Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think that you and Jake must have played it. I don't think
Yeah.
I did, though.
Oh, maybe you did. I know Jake, Jake, somebody else and I, we played it back in the day on my old shitty laptop I used. And but I remember when it came out, it kind of came out rocky and a lot of people liked it. I don't remember if it was a subscription-based game or not initially, but I remember where they kind of went away for a little bit, almost like a Final Fantasy 14 kind of thing, where it went away for a little bit and they brought it back, and they fixed a lot of the issues, and it was free to play, and I remember liking it quite a bit. I've been waiting forever for it to come to PS4, and it felt like it might actually got downloaded. If I was just kind of waiting to play it, I might check it out actually now, because I've been hearing a lot of people talk about it recently, and I've been wanting to jump back into it, so now might be a good time. But I remember playing it back a few years ago, and it was really fun.
Yeah, you know what?
So.
I've heard some bit of ramblings of that before as well. Like our friend, Eric Ross, Pac-Man Polar Bear from BRB and stuff, talked about it like at least a few years ago, of him playing through that game on the PC and being just engrossed inside the experience, because he was taking all the different characters and getting them up to level 10 before he started spending money on the stuff.
Yeah, and I remember, I remember there was like Marvel Heroes like 2014, 2015. I think they would just do like big updates, make big events for them every year for the game, and keep bringing people back. And I remember actually making fun of Marvel for how stupid it was. The fact there was a tree and raccoon, and now they're like my two favorite characters in the Marvel movies. In Guardians of the Galaxy.
Raccoon and Groot.
Yeah, I'm like, what? There's a raccoon in Marvel? This is stupid, guy. I remember that was my big thing that night. Was like,
well,
that's
also
the dumbest thing ever.
There's also a squirrel girl inside Marvel too. So
well, that's just dumb. Can't wait till Squirrel Girl is I love that movie in 2020. I'm like, dude, Squirrel Girl is
you
amazing.
probably will. You
probably
will.
Probably will. Oh,
Your secret crush is Squirrel Girl.
And it's still Groot, actually. Not so secret. I still love Groot. Mostly because it's Vin Diesel as Groot. I love that man. Fast and Furious is so good. Sorry. Yeah, but I just remember playing it back in the day. It was a lot of fun. And
of course.
Want to jump back into it. So my excuses forever is like, put it on the console. Now it's on there. So I need to check it out. You and I maybe we'll hop on and play some co-op or something. Because I remember it was like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which I loved back in the day, and I always wanted another one. They just never did it for some reason. So this is kind of closest we're going to get to one. So,
well, if you ever feel like it, man, no problem. We'll just try to do something of the sort,
Awesome. But go ahead. Go ahead what you're saying.
Well, let's see. Other than that, I end up downloading this game. You know how like Hatsune Miku is like supposedly this rhythm-based game and all this other stuff from like what was it? Oh gosh, I know it's been around for now quite a number of years. I think one of the earliest was like in 2010, but the whole thing about it is earlier on this year, like around the first part of January, there was a actual free release of this game on PSN. And so being curious, having never played any of the games before, I downloaded it and I had a chance to play it. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know what it is about this game, but I am addicted to fucking playing only 2 tracks of this fucking game. Why? Because it's similar to sort of like some of the rhythm-based games that I've played previously through Elite Beat Agents, or my most recent tenure was like Persona 4 Gold, like Persona 4 Dancing All Night, which that is fucking awesome as well.
Speaking of, do you hear they announced a new rhythm-based Persona game?
Yeah, they announced 2 versions of it, and that's like Persona 3 and Persona 5, like those correlating dancing games, which you know what? I like that they did that, because here's the thing though, Persona 4 like Dancing All Night was more or less a continuation from the events of Persona 4, and it continued on from that storyline pretty much, even though it was so random and like all sorts of various other crazy stuff. But to be perfectly honest, the story was actually pretty darn good.
Was it as good as the Mario DDR game? That game was amazing.
Oh my god, I never played the Mario DDR game. I really
beat
wish
it in
I did.
45 minutes. Not worth the 100. I paid $120 for that game, and I played it for one night for like 45 minutes, and I played it again.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, that I know it was definitely a game I wanted to try to play. That I probably would have been addicted to that fucking shit. But no, to take back what I was saying like earlier here, this Hatsune Miku game, it's like Hatsune Miku like project like future project or some shit like that. Now, how this game is structuralized is you could do things like, say, like create your own little music videos or take your own like photos, like the specific like pop star or something like that you've created in this game. It just gets kind of a little bit, it sort of gets a little bit out there in terms, but I gotta admit though, the gameplay and how you go through like, say, a typical rhythm bass type of things, it's really kind of relaxing because matching the tones, like matching the rhythm of like the beats that you're hitting and stuff, plus just having this addictive pop music just like playing while you're doing it, it just feels really, I don't know, just satisfying in sort of a weird way. I don't know, it's because of myself being a musician at trade, but there's just a lot of fun things that I had there. And the thing about it is there's been enough content, even though there's like 2 tracks, I kid you not, 2 tracks that are available in this free version of it. And I've went through this each track here on each of their difficulty settings, from like easy to normal to hard to the extreme mode for all of them and stuff. And to be perfectly honest with you, I actually have subsequently accidentally unlocked all the trophies that are for like the base game for this damn thing, which it's kind of surprises me in that regard, because how this game is structured is like, not only do you have just the actual like future, like Project Future, whatever the hell, main game, but you have elements of 2 DLC packages, and this is where they get you right here. It's like, if you want to buy it as a bundle of those 2, it's $50, right? And then you have you can buy them individually, you know, through both the DLC packages. They're like $30 a piece. So in a way, if I want to get the whole experience of it, I have to spend at least a good solid like $55 to not only get both of the DLC packs, but also probably get like a fuller experience to where I could go forth and like, you know, just unlock a lot of the tracks, play it, this and that and stuff. Maybe in a future time I may want to play through that and stuff, but to be perfectly honest, I've actually had a blast just playing through the game the way I've done this week, and then just play the 2 tracks. I basically paid nothing for this game, and I've already gotten maybe like about, I kid you not, maybe 8 hours worth of like fun. Damn. Just by doing like random shit and just getting better at these 2 tracks, matching the beat. But you know what? Other than that, though, I haven't played too much of anything else. I've played bits of Rocket League, and I've done little competitive matchups and stuff last night, but at the same point, you know, it's been kind of hard for me to try to get into something else that's like from my backlog.
Yeah. Speaking of, actually, backlog, there's not really a lot of news this week. It's kind of a familiar tone for me.
Yeah.
We're in that, you know, entertainment-wise and everything, sports, video games, movies, TVs. Once 4th of July hits, news and a lot of other shit just kind of dies to the wayside. So I actually I put in the topics this week about our backlogs for
okay.
games for like that came out this year, 2017.
Okay.
That we want to play and before kind of like the holiday season hits, when all the big shit comes out, like games we want to play that we own, or even maybe we don't own, that we still want to play through or check out, that, you know, whatever, sometime this year. If you want, I can start.
Yeah, go on ahead and start, Tyler.
Okay. I actually only have a couple. Well, I have Telltale's Guardian of the Galaxy, but that's episodic. That's kind of the one key thing that I saw the second episode finish up. That I want to do with that. But the 2 main ones that I want to check out here soon, and I feel like this one, the first one, I feel like if I don't have this one at least check out again, jump back into it and try it again, then it won't happen this year if I don't do it in the next couple weeks. And that is Resident Evil 7.
Oh yeah,
it's the game. It's the first game I bought of the year, and I played it for a few hours, and I was was not the game for the time that the time and place for me. This wasn't the game for me at that time. That's really redundant there what I just said. But anyways, it was just at that point in time it was incredibly busy. I was incredibly stressed out with work, and to play a game that really stresses you out and causes a lot of anxiety and scares the shit out of you, just not the game I should be playing at that point in time. So that's the biggest one I desperately want to check out or jump back into, give it a second chance here soon because one, it's about that time we've talked about it. We're gonna be talking about for the next few months. It's gonna be game after game after game, and then 2. I forgot what 2 was. I don't remember what it was now. Jesus Christ, I'm tired. What was it? I'll fucking remember later. Anyways, the other one is called Rime, I believe is how it's pronounced. Rime. Came out a couple months ago. I've been wanting to play it for a while now. It just not one of the games I wasn't going to pick it up. It came out in, I think, like late May, and at that point in time, I had backlog from hell. There was no point in me buying another game until I started clearing stuff out. It was on sale. And I picked it up for $15, so I own that now. Someone compared it to Last Guardian, so I heard Last Guardian, and I'm like, okay, checking that shit out. I heard like Last Guardian and Journey a lot when people were talking about this game. So got that. That's kind of the 2 big ones I really want to check out. This year that I haven't played or just haven't finished or haven't given my opinion of whether or not I'm gonna like this game or not. So anything from you?
Well, let's see. To begin with, there are games in my current 2017 backlog that I do want to go through. At least, hopefully, I can go through in the initial part of this year. I'm kind of at a disadvantage because the glute of games that I enjoy are RPGs. So, already I feel like I need to try to play through Persona 5 to the biggest extent that I want to do. On top of that, I have Nier Automata, which I still want to get to, because that supposedly is a fantastic role-playing game.
Yeah.
It's in the same universe as Drakengard and all that other shit and stuff. But I have that. I have Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a fantastic game. I have liked the initial thing of what I played, but I still need to get a lot of it, gone through and stuff. I mean, I have those 3 major games right there, but a lot of which I've already played through this year, to my surprise, is because of, how my obsession with the Nintendo Switch has led to me not only, purchasing, 4 games in total in physical form and stuff, and I've beaten every single one of them, Zelda Breath of the Wild, I've gone through Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I have gone through ARMS, which that was fun as well, and also the Puyo Puyo Tetris game, which that was fucking crazy. But as regards to games I want to play for the rest of the year that I've won, it has actually gone down to... Initially, I had on a list that I have with me in front of me here. I one time wanted to see maybe... There was 25 games that I've had interest in wanting to play, but it's more or less now probably within the realm of about 10, probably 10 to 15 or something like that. But... the big games that I really want to try to play, obviously, like Super Mario Odyssey, which, hell, I love Mario games. Mainline Mario games attract me to play them. Let's see. I did want to go through and probably play Gravity Rush 2, considering that released around February of this year, I think. It was either January or February. I've forgotten. Ultra Sun
I think it was February.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, sorry.
That's okay. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, obviously, for me, because even though they're big RPGs and I really should not be playing through so many long games all at once, I have a fun fascination with Pokemon games. The mainline games are just something I love playing. So, obviously, eventually, I will pick up both. I'll play through them in their corresponding times. But, other than that, let's see. I need to check one last thing. Oh, well, you know what? There were some games that had some passing interest that I could potentially pick up on Switch if they do, say, release or maybe discount at a lower price. Like Snake Pass and Yooka-Laylee and stuff. But other Other than that, though, there's like maybe one or two more games which I pretty much have interest in. It's not going to be like really on the PS4 side of things. There's a game releasing next month with that Metroid Samus Returns, which is like basically the remaster of Metroid 2. I really want to play that. It's one of the first Metroid games in years where I actually just want to play it, and go through it. But obviously that Uncharted: The Lost Legacy has me really much interested in wanting to play it, and it releases this month, I think.
The 22nd.
Yeah, the 22nd of this month. So yeah, that's pretty much my game wants in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, I remember my other thing I was going to say about Resident Evil 7 is just, like I said, one, a lot of games coming out, so hard time finding time to play that. And then two, it sucks with all the big shit comes out game-wise. Then there's football in there too, and all my shows come back. Just from an entertainment aspect with your free time. All the shows I enjoy watching are coming back. Football dominates my weekend. Yep. And then all these games come out. And then also on top of that, work. Pretty much after Labor Day, it starts to come balls to the wall crazy at work. Long days, work a lot of Saturdays. Pretty much up until May. So it's going to be a rough 9-month stretch. Just getting the free time and on top of balancing everything just from not even personal life, just balancing entertainment aspects. So that's why I feel like I need to play that here soon. Because really I have a couple small pocket windows but they're going to be dominated by the games that are coming out this fall that I want to play. I got a 5-day weekend. I got the Thursday and Friday before Labor Day off. So kind of the last raw of my sanity for a while but right before that, literally the day before my vacation starts, Mario plus Rabbids comes out. The week before that, Madden and Uncharted come out. So that's going to dominate. Then during my vacation, Life is Strange Episode 1 Before the Storm comes out. And then it's that's going to dominate any game time I have during those weekends. It's going to be dominated by those new ones. And then I have a 5-day weekend for Extra Life, but right before that comes out, you got Evil Within. Right before Extra Life, Evil Within 2, South Park: Fractured Butthole, Wolfenstein, Assassin's Creed, Super Mario Odyssey, all come out within a couple weeks of that time off. So that's going to dominate my time and dominate the time after that. So I feel like Resident Evil there might be a chance that maybe in September sometime, because there's a nice pocket. There's a 6-week pocket between Mario and Rabbids and Evil Within 2 outside of Cuphead coming out in late September, where I'm going to probably have some time to jump into a new game, maybe, depending on how long those games take me to finish. And I feel it, but if I don't play before that, it's just not going to happen. I've been holding on to that game forever. I a few times thought about trading in, no, I'm going to hold on, I'm going to give it a shot. I've heard nothing but great things. Justin raved about that game, and I enjoyed what I played of it. So that's, that game. And then Rhyme, I don't know how deep of a game that is, so but it might be my next game I jump into, actually, when I think about it, because I feel like that might be a perfect game to play right now. But I don't know. That's kind of the games that really are coming out later this year. Batman comes out on Tuesday. God damn it. Shit. Oh my god.
The soft realization that more games are releasing.
Yeah, first world problems, But yeah, that's kind of my backlog, and also kind of my video game calendar for the year, as far as trying to balance this shit out. I don't even know what game I'm going to play first. What game I'm going to focus on first. Am I going to jump back and forth? Am I just going to focus on one, knock one out, and then jump to the other one? I don't fucking know. I'm already having anxiety. It's getting crazy. Anyways, moving on. Getting out of what's coming out later this year, I'm going to talk about something that's about Thanksgiving, something that's happening later this year. So GameStop, they've actually came out 2013 or 14 and said that they will not be opening on on Thanksgiving Day, even though it's kind of around 13 or 14 is when a lot of retail stores, started. That kind of became a thing where they're opening up Thanksgiving night. Some are actually just opening up working normal hours or slightly shorter hours on Thanksgiving Day, like Best Buy, Target, Walmart, Amazon. I mean, people don't realize it, but there are people that ship those items and work on Thanksgiving Day. So GameStop came out back then and said, no, we're not working. We want our employees to enjoy that time with their family. GameStop has now come out and said they're going to start working on Thanksgiving. I don't know if they had hours yet. I have to double check the article. But they're at least going to be opening on, I think the hours, now I think about it, I think I did read that it's going to be Thanksgiving afternoonish. They'll be opening up. So I don't think they'll be opening up like a full day. Anything I can't find anything about it in this article here, but they came out and they said we're now going to be opening on Thanksgiving. They had their they talked about it in their last quarter update for the Q4, so into the fiscal year 2016. They talked about kind of like for the last 10 years or so, about 45% or so, 40 to 45% of GameStop's revenue for the entire year came from October through December. And that's just over the course of time. It's been dipping and dipping. I think last year is about 36%, 36, 37%. So not a big dip in our eyes, but it's you're talking 8% gap there. That's, you're talking about almost 20% decrease in revenue. And also across the board, everything is down for GameStop, and everything's down for a lot of people. A lot of brick and mortar stores, but most importantly, not most importantly, but one of the bigger ones, GameStop, when they're not, they're a game focused store, they're not a Target, a Walmart, they don't have other things that supplement income, and they made big changes like the last few years with like ThinkGeek. They're actually making games now, publishing games. They had a game come out last year. I can't remember what it's called. That weird.
Anzu.
What was it?
I think it was called like Anzu or something like that, or some weird shit like that.
Oh no, not Abzu. It was a underwater game though, and like it was like a Metroidvania underwater game that came out, and it's like you can only get the physical copy exclusively at GameStop, but then like the digital, you can get it digitally and everything.
Song of the Deep.
Thank you. Yep. That came out, and it came out with some middling reviews, and I know there's a couple other ones they have in development now, but I think that's the only one that's come out so far. So they have definitely jumped in some other ways. Like I said, they bought ThinkGeek. They're doing a lot of stuff with like mobile stuff now. You can buy digital codes for games through them. So they're definitely doing an attempt to stay relevant and keep revenue high. And they're still doing really well. It's not like they're they're going away in the next couple of years. But there's a lot of outrage with it, and I personally feel like it's overblown. I haven't worked in like retail in over a decade. About almost a decade now. So I've had the luxury of looking at it from that point of view. But a lot of people have been really pissed about GameStop and about it. But I think it's kind of ridiculous to be pissed off about it when everybody's doing it now. And I imagine they'll do their best to make it voluntary and let people come in. You're going to get paid holiday for it. So they're going to do away. They're trying to make it so people that don't want to work don't have to work, but there's probably going to be some that have to. I just feel like this is the way that things are going now with it. And also, like I said, Black Friday is the biggest shopping day of the year. And now Black Friday has now turned into just being Black Friday to real sales start like earlier in the week. And then they spread out, like Amazon has Cyber Monday. Everybody has Cyber Monday now. It's like a week-long event now.
So it's not necessarily like Black Friday or something. It's more like a Black Week, like weekday.
Yeah, but the real story here is that GameStop is now opening on Thanksgiving. But I just think the way things have changed in the last decade, the last few years, especially with just digital games, everything, and what everybody's doing, it's just Black Friday is a way different thing than it used to be when we were kids. Even actually young adults, it's way different. But you've worked in retail for a long time.
Yes.
What look from your point of view, you worked at GameStop, you hear this news, how would you feel?
I would not feel very happy about it. Not because of the potential of like getting holiday pay and this and that and stuff like that, but from a retail perspective, you're already working like full weeks as it is, going through facing the consumer and stuff. But at that time and stuff, it more or less would be more effective for like myself, because it's like I'm normally of the tradition and stuff where I like spending Thanksgiving Day and stuff like that with family, having like bits of like the like Thanksgiving dinner and stuff like that. And it's like one of those rare days during the week, like during those times of the year and stuff, where I can actually go forth and just like not really think about work. It's sort of like a miniature sort of a weekend within that stretch, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could point to the example of like, say, when I used to work weekends inside of a retail environment, and I had to come in and work during Easter, which that's something that I've never had to do, because growing up, you know, Easter was always considered like a holiday, like a religious holiday and this and that and stuff. But then going through, it just felt weird. And also, it's just during that time and stuff, not many people went and ventured into the store during that direct holiday because of that correspondence, you know. I know there are people out there that they want to try to, they're bored on a holiday and they want to go and see what store is open so they can go through and maybe walk through, maybe pick something up. But that's also another thing that I've seen, too, for sort of a retail space. If I was working, say, a Thanksgiving Day, I wouldn't think there wouldn't be that much business in regards to, like, say, being open on that particular day that early, unless it's sort of like a Black Friday sort of incentives on deals. And that's pretty much the only reason why the GameStop's even remotely trying this. It's because, hey, things have been dipping because, you know what, being a brick-and-mortar retail store, I'm sorry, it's like a lot of that landscape is drying up. I mean, hell, it's not just necessarily like, say, how good they're doing like from a holiday stretch. It's just the point that we're at right now in terms of the gaming landscape, where a lot of the brick-and-mortar places, like your GameStops, like your, say, your local game stores and something like that, that market, yeah, that market will be there, and there will be stuff that's going to be doing. But in order for GameStop to like change and evolve or something like that, it's like they have to try to do stuff like this in order to keep themselves making profit to seem relevant in this time space. Do I personally, if I was working there, would have liked to work on Thanksgiving Day? Hell no. I know for a fact that by working on a holiday like this, there probably won't be too many customers that are going to venture into the store because they're with their families and it's that time of the year because it's Thanksgiving. And a lot of the shopping probably won't be until that tomorrow morning, which I probably am going to assume that they're probably going to have it open till like around 8 o'clock at night, like they generally would for any type of stores. And then probably ask the same employees to go and open up the day after, like about 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., which in and of itself, that's complete bullshit. But you know what? It's like from a consumer perspective and stuff, I just don't give a shit. It's like, okay, you're going to be open in that regards. I understand why you're doing it, but at the same point, it's like, if I'm just bored and I've just ventured in just cause or something like that, then hell, I don't mind. But personally, I just don't care.
Yeah, and I think it's a little different too from the aspect that they don't get holiday pay.
No, they
what? Yeah, so GameStop employees, from what I understand, there's no like holiday pay. Because there's only a lot of them usually don't work full time. There's usually just a lot of part timers, maybe a couple full timers, so they don't have holiday pay. So from that standpoint, looking at it is like, well, I can not only, instead of losing, if say you just usually work Thursdays, I was like, well, shit, I'm losing a day's pay this week. I was like, oh hell, I can work that day and get time and a half. So I'm going to make money on that day. And I disagree from the standpoint where I think it will be, maybe certain areas it won't, smaller areas it won't, but I think it will be pretty busy in bigger areas. I remember a few years ago, my first and only time ever going out for Black Friday. I went out on Thanksgiving night, went up to Best Buy, my local one that's no longer there. Actually right like 2 stores down from GameStop. And I went there like 8, 9 o'clock on Thursday night. And I remember there was hundreds of people in there. I mean, it just the line wrapped around the entire building. You couldn't even get into the aisles to look at the stuff you wanted to buy. It was so bad. It was so busy. And I remember just waiting. And I ran. I grabbed a couple. I remember there was 2 games I wanted. I think it was that Mordor game, not Shadow of War. Can't remember what it's called, but anyways, the Shadow War. That's the first one to the sequel, and then I think it was like NBA 2K or something. I picked up, and I bought those, and I remember I ran immediately, got those within 2 minutes. And then I waited in line forever, and that was crazy to me. And Walmart is packed around here. Targets usually are packed around here,
Yeah.
especially the mall areas. It's insane. So I feel like it's the move they have to make because you're just losing money at GameStop.
Yeah.
And they're making they're still the revenue is high, profits is high, but you're a public company when they see you're dipping, that's not good. Shares go down, people lose confidence in you, and that's not good, especially and like the way in the digital games and everything going to that point and people ordering online. So
Oh man.
it's the move they have to make. I don't think they wanted to. I feel like when they said that in 2014 or 13, like business was way different than what it is now. So it's the move that they got to make to stay relevant, not stay relevant, but to stay competitive. So
I'll tell you what, Tyler. If I was a GameStop employee or something, and I know I wouldn't get holiday pay for that shit, I wouldn't even go in that day.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but I wouldn't, because that's stupid.
yeah, but I mean, you gotta look at if you can't afford to lose that day's pay.
Well, that's true too, though. But even at my workplace, I do get holiday pay for that stuff, and that's a retail store in and of itself.
Yeah.
Being like a charity thing.
Yeah, every store is different. So, I mean, I worked at a game store back in the day, and we didn't get holiday pay. We just lost the pay for that. If you were normally scheduled to work on those days, and the store was closed today, you just lost that pay for that day. So, if you can't afford to lose that money, especially it's a holiday season, you're gonna be needing money to buy presents. And if you don't like your family, or maybe you just don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's not a big thing in my family. Thanksgiving is not a big deal. We make a turkey, we do all the Thanksgiving stuff, but it's like people come over, we eat, bullshit for a couple hours, and they go home. It's not like a whole huge event. When we're going to other people's houses, people come over here for a couple hours, leave. It's whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I think every family's different, so everybody's different. So, yeah, it sucks if people that don't want to work have to work, and they're missing out on events. Like I've missed events before, family events and things like that, or got to work on holidays before, and it sucks. But just kind of the way things are going, I guess. So, yeah, kind of shitty, but I think that actually will wrap up the show for the week for us.
Wow.
Yeah, no, not like I said, not really a lot of news this week. Really, that was the only news we had was about GameStop being open on Thanksgiving. So hopefully more stuff is going on next week. At least Batman's out next week, so that's nice.
Oh yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy 2 comes out on Tuesday. Excited about that. Speaking of Groot and Rocket Raccoon. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to hear more from us, we have a Facebook page and group. It is Drunk-Nerds on there. On Twitter, we are at DrunkNerdsPod. So follow us on there. Two places I go to alert everybody that the show's up are those places. So check those out first. Or if you want to see it when it comes out right away, two places to check out. On Twitch, we are Drunk Nerds Podcast. Like I said, I played a few hours of Overwatch last night with some guys from Shipwreck TS. Jason was doing a 12-hour long Extra Life marathon yesterday, and I jumped in with him, and we played some Overwatch for a while, and he played some other stuff. So check them out, actually, on Twitch as well. Shipwreck TS. Doing a lot of cool stuff over there for Extra Life. We are Drunk Nerds Podcast. I streamed for a few hours last night with a bunch of them. Dave from BRB, and the guys, like I said, from Shipwrecked. And also Sam Wright. He was on there as well. So he's been on the show a few times. If you've been listening for a while, you know who he is. So follow us on there. And then also on YouTube, we are Drunk-Nerds on there. The stream we had from last night is actually on our YouTube page. So if you want to check it out, it's a lot of fun. Just us being goofy, having some beers, bullshitting, making fun of West from Talking Ship, which is always really fun to do, and just other stuff in general. It was Kevin's birthday. Kevin from Shipwrecked, it was his birthday. We all sang him happy birthday too. So anyways, thank you guys for listening. Check us out on all those places. But thank you guys for listening. I was your host. I was Tyler. And Jack dropped out of the call. Goddamn internet. But anyways, thank you guys for listening. I'll fix this in post. Have a good night, weekend, day, whatever. Bye.
Oh, for God's sakes, come on! Okay, well, as of this recording, I have sort of been dropped off of the Skype chat while Tyler was ending and stuff. So, until next week, everyone, stay tuned for episode 223. And you know what? Have a fun next week, everyone. See you later. Colonel Gables, signing off.
Excuse me. You too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.